Let's talk about something truly delicious today. Authentic German cheesecake, or Käsekuchen. But this isn't just any old recipe. Nope. We're going to solve the one big problem that stops so many people outside of Germany from ever making this classic. So, you know the feeling, right? You're all set to bake. You've got your quark, you've got your eggs, but then the recipe hits you with vanilla pudding powder. If you're not in Germany, that can be a total dead end. It's a classic problem, but don't you worry, we have the perfect hack for you. And this really is a dilemma. For years, it's stumped bakers who just want that authentic taste. So how in the world do you get that perfect creamy texture when you can't find the key ingredient? Well, the answer is way simpler than you think, and I bet you already have it in your kitchen. And here it is. Our secret weapon is Speisstärke, which is just the German word for cornstarch. That's it. See, pudding powder is basically just starch, sugar, and some flavoring. The cornstarch gives you that exact same thickening power and structure. It's an absolutely brilliant and simple substitute. Okay, so now that we've got our secret ingredients sorted, let's take a look at everything else we're going to need. This recipe is wonderfully simple, really. It just breaks down into two parts, a yummy, buttery short crust base and that rich, creamy quark filling. First up, the crust, or the Boden. We just need some flour, cold butter, a bit of sugar, one egg, and a little pinch of salt. That's it. All the classic stuff for a perfect, crumbly, short crust pastry. And now for the star of the show, the filling. We've got quark, which is that fresh cheese that makes German cheesecake so incredibly unique. Then sugar, vanilla sugar for extra flavor, eggs, a little oil and milk. And look, right there, highlighted, is our hero, 40 grams of cornstarch. We're also going to throw in a can of well-drained mandarins or peaches for a lovely burst of frit. All right, our ingredients are all lined up. Let's get our hands dirty and see how this all comes together. We're going to start with that delicious crust. Now, if you're using a Thermomix, this is almost ridiculously easy. You literally just throw all the crust ingredients, the flour, butter, sugar, egg, and salt into the mixing bowl, hit it for 20 seconds on speed 4, and boom, perfect dough. It's so fast. Okay, this next step is super important, so please do not skip it. You gotta wrap that dough up and let it chill in the fridge for a solid 30 minutes. This is what lets the butter get nice and firm, and that's the real key to a tender, flaky crust that doesn't shrink when you bake it. Once it's chilled, go ahead and roll out your dough and press it into your greased springform pan. Now here's a great tip. Make sure you work that dough up the sides, creating a nice high wall. You want to make sure there are absolutely no cracks or gaps. Think of it like you're building a little waterproof bowl for that amazing filling. Our crust is prepped and ready. Now for my absolute favorite part, making that incredibly rich, smooth, and creamy quark filling. So back to the Thermomix we go, and again, it's just a simple 1, 2, 3 process. First, you'll whip up the eggs, sugar, and vanilla sugar for about a minute. Then in go the quark, oil, and milk for another 30 seconds. And for the final step, add our secret weapon, the cornstarch, and give it one last 20-second blitz. And you're done. All right, a very important final touch here. Once you've poured your filling into the crust, take your fruit, make sure it's well drained, and just gently fold it in with a spatula. You want to be really careful here. Do not use the machine to mix it in. We want lovely, whole pieces of fruit in there, not a blended fruit puree. Okay, the cake is assembled, it looks incredible, and now it's time for that final transformation in the oven. This is where the real magic happens. So here are the two magic numbers you need to remember. You're going to bake this in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius, using top and bottom heat, and the baking time is right around 60 minutes. Of course, every oven is a little different, but 1 hour is your target. Now, here is a fantastic pro tip. About halfway through baking, maybe 30 or 40 minutes in, just loosely cover the top of the cake with a piece of aluminum foil. This is the secret to stopping the top from getting too brown before the center is perfectly cooked. It's a total game changer for getting that beautiful golden finish. And once that timer goes off, don't just yank the cake out of the oven. This is key. Turn the oven off, prop the door open just a tiny bit, and let the cheesecake cool down nice and slow, right there inside. This gentle cool down is the absolute best way to prevent that dreaded crack from forming right down the middle. And look at that. The result is a beautiful, creamy, perfectly set, authentic German Käsekuchen. The texture is spot on, the taste is classic, and you did it all without having to track down some special, hard-to-find pudding powder. This just goes to show a truly great bake is possible anywhere in the world. So now that you have the ultimate cheesecake hack, the possibilities are pretty much endless. Mandarins and peaches are wonderful, but what about cherries? Or maybe some berries? You could even try apples in the fall. The only question left is, what fruits are you going to try next?